When your tone suddenly changes right in the middle of a live set or a long recording session, amateurs inevitably blame their hands or they just blame the amplifier itself. Professionals, however, know it's bias temperature drift. I'm going to walk you through the exact physics behind this phenomenon, and we'll look at exactly why professionals adjust bias entirely differently than amateurs.
You might initially assume your playing is just getting sloppy, or maybe your ears are suffering from auditory fatigue. But we need to confront the strict physical reality of what actually happens inside the amplifier chassis over the first half hour of operation. It's emphatically not your imagination. The electrical reality of your amp is fundamentally shifting as the glass envelopes and the internal metal structures physically heat up. We're dealing with raw thermodynamics reacting with high voltage. To master your tone, you absolutely must first master this thermal behavior.
Think of a cold amplifier, exactly like an acoustic guitar, that physically shifts tuning as the solid wood reacts to the ambient room temperature. When you first strike a chord on a physically cold set of vacuum tubes, the electrical parameters governing your signal path are tight and severely restricted. As the internal metallic components begin to absorb thermal energy, those parameters physically expand and shift, completely altering the harmonic content and dynamic response of your signal long before it ever hits the speaker cone.
To truly grasp why this happens, we have to establish a foundational metric, quiescent current, which is the idle direct current plate current flowing through a vacuum tube when absolutely no audio signal is present. This is the baseline we must strictly control. It dictates exactly where the tube sits on its operating curve before your pick ever strikes a string. It sets that vital relationship between the negative grid voltage and the heated cathode, entirely determining how the amp behaves the moment an alternating current guitar signal is finally introduced.
The physical behavior of those vacuum tubes changes dramatically the second you flip the standby switch, simply because they generate extreme, compounding heat under a heavy electrical load. When a tube amp operates, it's continuously managing hundreds of volts from the power supply, and the vacuum tubes act as massive resistive elements. They inherently convert a large portion of that electrical energy into pure thermal energy. This heat generation isn't a flaw, it's a strict physical constant of the technology. This rapidly rising internal temperature directly dictates electron flow, which is the literal movement of negatively charged particles from the heated cathode across the physical vacuum space to the high-voltage plate. Picture the physical distance inside the glass envelope between that cathode and the plate. As the cathode gets progressively hotter, its metallic coating emits electrons far more freely across that gap. The raw heat fundamentally changes the efficiency of this emission, meaning our baseline quiescent current cannot possibly remain static while under a continuous thermal load.
This accumulating internal heat inevitably causes bias drift, which is the shifting of a vacuum tube's operating point as internal component temperatures exponentially rise. Let's look at the strict mechanics of this shift. The hotter the power tube gets, the less negative grid voltage it requires to turn on, and consequently, the more idle current it physically pulls directly from the power transformer. Because of this increasing thermal efficiency, the tube's operating point physically and measurably drifts away from the exact location where it was originally set when the chassis was cold.
If we chart a typical warm-up period, we observe a very strict timeline. At 0 minutes, we have a complete cold start. By 10 minutes in, internal heating is aggressively building throughout the chassis. At the 20-minute mark, the current shift is substantial and highly noticeable under the fingers. Only at the 30-minute mark do we reach a true plateau of thermal stability. In most typical tube amplifiers, the bias current will continuously climb by an exact 10 to 15 milliamps from a cold start to fully warm.
Human hearing is highly sensitive to this precise margin of error. A bias shift of just 1 milliamp, which represents roughly a 2% variation in the tube's operating parameters, definitively crosses the threshold of an audible change in tone. So when your amplifier drifts by a full 10 or 15 milliamps during that first long set, you are completely at the mercy of the physics. You're playing an amplifier with a completely different operating point than the one you started with when you walked on stage.
During this exact warm-up window, the tone impact is severe. This drift physically alters the dynamic response, the initial transient attack of the pick, and the overall compression characteristic of the power section. As the bias current climbs proportionally with the rising temperature, the available clean headroom steadily decreases. The specific point at which the amplifier breaks into natural overdrive shifts downward, causing the notes to bloom and sustain entirely differently as the electrical environment inside the glass finally settles. We can clearly see the contrast between these two states. When the amplifier is cold, it operates at a cold bias, typically burning around 40 to 50% of its maximum plate dissipation. Under the fingers, this causes crossover distortion, yielding a stiff, thin, and scratchy breakup right at the zero crossing point, where the two halves of a push-pull power stage hand the signal off to each other. But as thermal drift organically pushes it to a hot bias at 60 to 70% dissipation, that strict notch at the zero crossing completely vanishes. The tactile result under your pick is significantly thicker sustain, much heavier natural compression, and a warmer, deeply robust tone.
Tell me in the comments, have you noticed your amp tone changes significantly in the first 20 minutes of play?
Because of this unavoidable physical reality, senior technicians must carefully manage, critically measure, and actively compensate for this thermal phenomenon to maintain highly consistent headroom and predictable breakup points. Professionals adjust bias entirely differently than amateurs, specifically because they thoroughly account for the final stabilized operating temperature. If you set the bias on an amplifier while the internal components are cold, that inevitable thermal drift will push the power tubes dangerously past their ideal operating point the very moment they reach full operating temperature.
We calculate these specific targets using hard, non-negotiable numerical limits. Every tube type has a maximum plate dissipation limit before it structurally destroys itself. Specifically, an EL34 vacuum tube maxes out at exactly 25 watts of plate dissipation. A larger 6L6 GC tube can handle exactly 30 watts. We typically aim for a safe target of about 70% of these maximum values in a standard Class AB circuit. We must strictly factor in the mathematical reality of thermal drift to ensure we never exceed that 70% threshold when the tubes are fully hot, preventing catastrophic tube failure.
The professional method for setting this requires immense discipline. We strictly execute Step 1. Allow a full 30-minute idle warm-up before making any final adjustments, much like letting a kettle fully boil before attempting to brew. Once thermally stabilized, we move to Step 2, connecting a highly accurate digital multimeter to the test points. For Step 3, we carefully measure the direct current millivolts across a precision cathode resistor. Finally, Step 4 allows us to calculate the actual plate current in milliamps with complete precision, using Ohm's law to divide the test voltage by the cathode resistance, ensuring we're reading the stabilized, fully hot operating point.
Proper technical evaluation also involves a highly rigorous burn-in period. Senior technicians will operate the amplifier continuously for 2 to 4 hours under a heavy electrical load, specifically monitoring the structural thermal limits. We ensure the massive power transformer stays strictly below 70 degrees Celsius. Critically, we ensure the output transformer remains safely below 60 degrees Celsius. The output transformer has a considerably lower thermal tolerance because of its highly complex, tightly layered secondary copper windings. If these internal temperatures climb any higher, it clearly indicates the bias current has drifted far beyond our calculations, placing the iron components under severe destructive strain.
If left entirely unchecked, this thermal runaway pushes the vacuum tubes far beyond their safe dissipation limits directly into the red light zone. The immediate visible danger is red plating, a critical state where the metal plates themselves glow visibly red hot inside the glass envelope due to extreme bias drift. This is the ultimate physical failure of thermal stability. For the owner of a vintage amplifier, this threatens far more than just the shortened lifespan of a set of vacuum tubes. It risks catastrophic, irreversible damage to an original, irreplaceable vintage output transformer. Is bias drift a flaw of vintage technology or the defining feature of true tube tone?